For more on this, let's bring in Jessie Jane Duff, retired Marine Corps gunnery sergeant and senior fellow at the London Center for Policy Research. Jessie, good to see you, and thanks for joining us this evening. Let's go to the heart of what John was saying there at the end about Russia's so-called vaunted anti-missile defense system, which didn't come into play at all during last night's joint military strike supported by the United States, the UK, as well as France. Tell me, if you can, what you think about that. Is Russia blustering?
Well, Russia's always been blustering. We always have been given a lot of robust talk from Vladimir Putin. But what we have seen now is that Russia is not in the capacity of defending Syria the way they try to brag that they can. What we also have to recognize is that Russia has to be called out by the international community, that if you want to be considered a serious international player, that if you are endorsing and condoning this abhorrent behavior by Bashar al-Assad, we are not going to tolerate it further. I think Nikki Haley gave a very profound message with that we are locked and loaded, and I, as a Marine, and anybody who's ever served on active duty knows exactly what that means. That means we're not bringing our weapons down. We are focused on you. You're in our sights. We're watching, and we are going to deliberately ensure that you are not able to progress with the assault of your people with chemical weapons anywhere near in the future.
No doubt in anyone's mind after that description that you just given about locked and loaded, and certainly that is what you and Ambassador Nikki Haley in all likelihood meant. There was also the statement made by British Prime Minister Theresa May earlier overnight where she said, "We seek to deter and degrade Bashar al-Assad's chemical weapons facilities." Do you think that was accomplished?
Well, right now I am hopeful that what we're sending is a very clear message that it is an abhorrent behavior, and bad things happen when good men do nothing. And all of the nations that turn the other cheek to this normalize the assault of chemical weapons. We cannot get to a point in this world that one more attack happens and people turn away because they don't want to be engaged. This is the most brutal way to kill people and assault people and have them have a very painful death. Innocent women and children and men that had no regard, they have no regard for the human life in their country. If we do not stop this, or if nations do not get involved, it will become normal in our common life. And then what happens? When you turn away, it could happen to you next.
You know, Jesse, that goes to the core of what you were saying, as well as the President of the United States, who basically was stating, along with the Vice President today from Lima, Peru, who was stating that for the past 100 years, people have recognized that chemical weapons is not the approach to take. And the Vice President stating there from Lima, Peru today that the United States, the UK, and France had the moral right to act the way they did to take out chemical weapons. Tell me your response to that, and going forward, what should the United States be looking at? Should it be a sustained approach when the necessity rises, or if it rises again?
Absolutely, because what we're telling now is the world leaders out there, there are despots that want to try to do this, know now that they will be hit hard, swiftly and abruptly, and not without regard for the human life that we are trying to protect. We struck this without causing any casualties, and that is remarkable when you look at that. Not only that, our targets were on point. We were in and out. They were unable to even defend themselves. But we also have to know that if we do nothing, then it will go on again and again. Right now, the president has drawn a red line, and President Trump's red line will not get crossed, because in 2014, Kerry had stated to this nation that unequivocally 100% of the chemical weapons had been detained by our ally, or Russia at the time, who volunteered to do this. Why did we trust that? Why did we sit back and not go in and investigate? We should have ensured that it was we investigated and that all those chemical weapons were disposed of. But instead, that has not happened. So right now, we're serious. That red line will not get crossed, and this president is serious.
Jessie Jane Duff, retired Marine Corps gunnery sergeant and senior fellow at the London Center for Policy Research. Jessie, always good to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Good to see you, Kelly.
And thank you for your service.